This is the instructional video for the game Yukon King. It's a new prototype game by Kairos Game Labs. The premise of this game is that you're a miner in the Yukon, and obviously the goal is going to be the miner who makes the most money at the end of the game. The game components are simple. You have these cards here, which each represent a mining claim. I'll explain the various numbers on those in a minute. You have these cards. Those are the production cards. Those are the cards the players use to decide what they can do on their turn. And there's some gold here that represents investment that investors are willing to make in you as a miner. And then this is your player board, which this is your sluice box, which you'll use each turn. At the end of a turn, you'll clean out your sluice. It'll become a clean out, and you'll have 4 cleanouts in a game, and that signals the end of the game. So each one of these represents the cleanouts, and then you also have a little ghost space over here that represent your tailings pile, which are claims or mining actions that you do not want to keep. You want to get rid of. We also have these cards, which are cleanout cards, and they represent incentives and bonuses, some elements of risk, some elements of chance in the game that the players get to decide on at the beginning of the turn. So here's how gameplay goes. It moves pretty quick and it's fairly simple. So players are going to take turns selecting claims that they're going to place in their sluice box, and once they have 4 sluice box spots filled up and 2 tailings slots, then they're considered done mining for that turn, and so play continues until every player has completed all 6 of those actions. Now the mines, or the claims here, you see are represented by different numerical values, 1 being the lowest and 4 being kind of the deepest, so think if you're going down levels in mining. So these are worth points, obviously, or values. And so this card here is a level 3 and it's worth plus 40,000. This is a level 4, it is a minus 20,000, because sometimes when you mine, you don't always make money. It is a gamble. This one is a plus 50,000. It's on the back of a level 4. And then this level 2 is actually a break even, because you don't always make money and you don't always lose money when you're mining either. Additionally, there are some icons that are on these cards as well. Here you see a gold bar and a lease contract. I'll explain to you what those do in just a minute. So as you consider mining level 1s or level 4s, the math goes thus. The level 4s, you have opportunity to make or lose more money because you're going deeper, you're taking more risk. And that is pretty much a 50-50 shot. And so it's kind of you want to make a good educated guess on that. As you go shallower to level 1s, it's kind of a 70-30 split. You're more likely to make money, but you're not going to make as much money. So they're a little more certain, but you're not necessarily going to strike it rich as much as you would in the deeper level mines. And that math just kind of tapers from 1 to 4, as you can imagine. So this game is set up ready for play. The first thing you do at the beginning of each round is you'll randomly deal out these cards, and then you'll select one of these 4 Yukon King cards, and these are just a kind of a layout. So if we select that this is the first person, then there's a little keyed square here, and you use this key to tell you which of these cards at the beginning of the turn you're going to turn over. So I'm going to go down 4, and this one's going to get turned over. This one will get turned over. This one will get turned over, as will this one. So far, it's all good stuff, all black, all making money. There's a red from that one that gets turned over. This one gets turned over, as does this one, and this one. All right. So this will be the beginning of our turn. So it's not just a blind draw. There's a little bit of educated guessing, and then there's some strategy here. So what you do is, after these are turned over, each person's gets dealt, and we'll look at these cleanout cards. Now, these cleanout cards, like I said, they're kind of situations, things that could happen in a mining season. So here we go. This clean out card says dig a new freshwater pond. So you had to dig a pond, so it cost you 30,000. But if you have in your clean out, so that's going to be represented by the cards you collect in your sluice box. If you have in your clean out a gold bar icon and a backhoe or a loader icon, then you make 30,000. So there's value in these cards, not in just what the money is, but this one has a loader icon. This one has a gold bar icon. So, as luck would may have it for demonstration purposes, I may want to consider playing this, because if I collect these two cards in my sluice box, some during the round, and then place them in my clean out at the end of the round, and collect them like that, then I'm going to get that 30,000 bonus, because in my clean out are a loader icon and a gold icon. Okay, so there's more going on than just the dollar values on those. So these, obviously, a whole bunch of different situations that every person, like I said, they're dealt to. You're going to pick one, and you're going to secretly play that for this round. You'll go through all 6 moves. So you'll collect all of your sluice box, and you'll get rid of any that you don't want in your tailings. And then at the end of those, when that round is over, you'll clean out your sluice box, put it in your clean out, and lay this card face down on top of it. And that's the end of round 1. That's your first clean out. We'll do 4 of those. At the end of the game, we score not only the money values on these cards, but also whatever bonus situations happen in these cards. And that's how we determine who the winner of the game is. Okay, now once we have our claims turned over, we can see them. Players are going to look at their clean-out cards and decide which cards they want to try to play based on what they see out here and maybe what icons they see that might match icons in their clean-out cards. So we have these little gold bars that represent investment from an investor. And so what we're going to do at the beginning of each turn is we're going to do a simple wager. Whoever wants to go first is going to wager, and the one who wagers the most of these wins. Now the rule is you have to use them all in the game. You just have to. So you get to decide if you want to wait, maybe go now. If you have a card, a clean out card that you see some good things on the board, like I saw with my clean out card with these 2 icons, I might want to go first, so I might wager high. But that's all I have for the whole game, and I have to use them all throughout the game. The reason it's important to be the first player is obviously you get a better chance at matching what's in your hand, but also the first player gets to turn over 1 additional mining claim before they begin. They have to turn it over for everybody to see, but they get to pick 1 additional card to turn over to start us off. Now, how you decide what a player gets to do is every player is also going to have 3 of these production cards, okay? And there's really only three options. So play is very simple and very fast. You can either sluice, which means you take a claim here and put it in your sluice box, or you can survey, which means you get to look at 2 face down claim cards, these mining cards, and see what they are, and then return them back to the grid. Okay, so there's a little memory aspect of this game. Or you can dump, which means you can move any card from this grid or your own sluice box into your tailings pile. So if you want to get rid of a bad card here, if you just don't want to risk seeing what that card is here, you would move that card into your tailings pile. Okay, now the way a player decides what to play is very simple. They have 3 cards in their hand, and in order to complete an action, you put it down and replace your card with one of these that's already out there. But the only rule is you can't replace with the same card. So I can't play a sluice and pick up another sluice. So I would say I'm going to play this sluice card, I'll pick up this dump. So now I would sluice, and I want to make some money. So I'm going to sluice and put this $30,000 in my sluice box. That's it, my turn. So the next player would go, they would look at their hand, they would trade for one of these, complete an action, and it goes around the board. So play happens very quickly. There's not a lot of downtime, not a lot of thinking time. Players really have to just consider dollar amounts. They have to consider icons, trying to match what's on their clean out cards, and then play goes all the way around until a round is completed. Then every player cleans out their sluice box, places it under their clean out card for their first clean out. And then we do it again for 2, 3, and 4, rounds 2, 3, and 4. Only difference about the beginning at the second round is the second round introduces this card. It's called the Tailings card. And so it becomes part of our deck, and it replaces a Sluice card. And whoever picks up the Tailings card at that round, you can look at 4 cards from any Tailings pile, and then you can pick. You have to pick one and put it in your Sluice box. Now, Tailings pile, at the end of each round, I would select my Tailings, this player would select their Tailings, this player would select theirs, and any remaining cards, because those are unmined, go into a Tailings pile. So there's kind of a wild card aspect to that, was we don't really know what that is. This card allows you to look into Tailings piles if you want to for your turn, but if you look, you have to take one in your Sluice box. There are also a couple of the clean out cards that deal with the Tailings piles as well. So this is what we would look like at the end of the game. Every player is going to have 4 clean out piles. These are my Tailings pile from the end of the previous round. And what we're going to do is simply count up the value of each of the cards that are under here, match up our bonuses, see if we completed them or not, if we made money or lost money on those, total all 4 up, and then we see who wins the game.